A bank robbery playing over the opening credits. Just after, a man picking up a woman after a movie screening. The two share both a kiss and a night, longing in her eyes. Pushover has all the Noir hallmarks. Visually, tight urban setting, shimmeringly wet streets and plentiful shadows, as well as thematically, total corruption on personal and institutional level. A snapshot of a world in which the stalking of a suspect's neighbor is its most chivalrous act. In short, a deterministic narrative en route to total desolation, and by extension a film deeply entrenched in and possibly aware of its genre history. Watching it, one may reminisce of a Double Indemnity, and such comparison is intriguing, even if initially only reducible to Fred MacMurray's involvement in the two, in both playing an idiot whose avarice expels him to death. After all, Kim Novak, Fred's suitor here, is no Stanwyck, nor does she pretend to be. She shines in her innocence. It is not the eventual scheme that binds her love to Fred, but rather, maybe naively, the hope of a connection, a future. Of course, since that would constitute a violation of Noir philosophy, she's left with nothing but her mourning. As in Double Indemnity, the act of murder breaks the relationship just as it was supposed to have proven it. But the break occurs in different ways. What only makes impossible reconciliation in Pushover, wherein Wilder exposes the lack of true love that the husband, as a sort of sublime object, only concealed. Pushover does come 10 or so years after Double Indemnity, and the patina of age is noticeable on Fred. I remember how, when I first saw him in films, I detested him. Him and his smug face, detested for the exact reasons I now love him. One felt justified in thinking Double Indemnity was perfect in spite of him. After numerous viewings, it became apparent that it is perfect because of him. What makes him so intriguing is, in particular, this constant interplay between him appearing visibly uncomfortable, yet trying his very best to present an unbothered, equanimous countenance. A veneer of assuredness, its authentic kind usually reserved for the Bogarts of the world, slowly melting amidst the desperations of his plans. Quite simply, it is a joy to watch his facade flash straight back into his face. The entirety of the second half plays over the course of a single night, almost diegetically, and with that makes Fred's demise all the more poignant, for how the film's time directly confronts him with the consequences of his actions, lingering until its bitter end. Here, he's not saved by a cut that would propel him to the next day, but forced to see out the remaining hours of his life. MacMurray played bad guys naturally, but was at his best not as these so-called personifications of evil, as one would find in Wilder's The Apartment, but in roles where you could pinpoint the exact second where human dignity left his body. Pushover is littered with those seconds. This must then be the true influence of Double Indemnity. The film seems to deliberately center itself around that quality, in the process removing the distraction of an agentive woman, against whom Fred's rationale could have showed itself.
He pulled a gun on me. It went off. It was an accident.
Pushover does his noir when you remove the femme fatale and ask yourself what is left, what is accentuated, namely the core condition that drives all of the genre. The pathetic pathology of its males, no longer with someone to blame or some way to rationalize anger. This man is left the pure product of his own vice.
Hold it, Sheridan.